So let me talk about today's topic, how to thrive in the digital, and I call it deluge, okay? Because I think it really is. So I've got some figures up here. I'm not going to read them. There's a couple that I think are very important. So if you can't read it from the back, so every single day, 4.8 billion interactions on Facebook, 1.3 billion smartphone apps downloaded, 16 billion texts sent, 5.9 billion Google searches made, 2.3 billion posts, 500 million tweets. So there are now more tweets per day than there are books in the world. Think about that for a minute. 300 billion emails sent. And you know, you sit back, I don't know about you, but I sit back and it's a fire hose. It's a fire hose. And as a business executive, you need to decipher which of those digital activities are worth my attention and which I simply have to let go. And you have to determine how best to gather, how best to organize, how best to analyze, and how best to really utilize and leverage and exploit this deluge of digital information. Because at the end of the day, your goal, as I put it in red down the bottom, is to capture and retain these customers who are also awash in the digital sea. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I sit back, I deal with a lot of very senior executives. They don't have time to be overwhelmed in a digital sea. They just want to know, tell me what I should do, Bart. What is the implication? And that's what we get paid to do, right, as business people. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I sat back about 8 months ago. This book was published, I think, in April of last year. I'm writing my new book. I'm going to be on digital strategy. And the reason I'm writing the next book is for this very topic. So given this, what does that mean as a business executive? And why bother? Because I always like the why bother test. Why bother with CRM? It's not for everybody. Why bother with social? It's not for everybody. Why bother with digital strategy? It's not for everybody. But if it's relevant and you can tell me why bother, and that's what I do with a lot of senior executives, tell them why bother, then you pass the mustard test and we're willing to talk a little further. So why bother? Because 70% of 16 to 18-year-olds in this country, I don't know about your countries, buy digitally, and this evolution, or revolution, is in its infancy. So think about it. 16 to 18 years old, they're just breaking into the workforce, maybe not even, they're still in college, most of them, or even high school. 70% die digitally. It's the way they do business. So I was with my niece several weeks ago, and she said to me, that she's 18. She said, Uncle Bart, when you were my age, what was your favorite app? And I said, sweetheart, I wasn't around in those days. 95%, this is another quote that I think is important about why bother. 95% of knowledge workers carry a very powerful PC in their pocket. So this has really changed the world, right? 95 carry it. 70% of 16 to 18-year-olds digitally connect on an absolute on an ongoing basis. So if you're a company in B2B, if you're a company in B2C, if you're in a company B2B2C, and you're not on top of this game, where will you be in 3 years? Let me say it differently. If your competitor is on top of this game and you're not, who wins? It's that important.